What did you want to be when you grow up? I actually wanted to sell ice cream. I think many kids did at my age. I quickly figured out, though, that the revenue from the business won't be sufficient to cover my needs and toys. So I had to find a new passion, and it turned out to be music. I studied piano for 8 years and was quite a promising young pianist. I took part in competitions, I had my concerts, but at some point I had to face the same dilemma again. I wanted to earn good money. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to be able to get nice gifts to my parents. And I just didn't feel like I could do any of that by becoming an average musician. And at the same time, being a top 1% musician felt completely unreal. At a time, it was unclear how you could combine passion and money. In the last couple of years, actually a very interesting trend started to happen. There are now multi-million-dollar ice cream companies that raise venture capital. And there are platforms like Patreon and Bandcamp that help musicians to get a very healthy and substantial income. People earn hundreds of thousands of dollars per month by playing video games, by traveling and performing, all the things that used to trigger a very condescending response from more rational people. It's a new era in economy where passion does not conflict with money anymore. It actually allows you to multiply it. So how did it happen? We started in the agrarian economy. As people lived in small, disconnected communities and didn't have any advanced technologies, they only could produce and sell something in very small quantities. As we transitioned into the industrial age and learned how to distribute goods across the world, the volume of production grew massively. Personalization, which previously was an advantage, became a defect. The key selling point of mass production was a guarantee of the same level of quality. And as a continuation of this trend, 15 years ago, we saw a rise of a gig economy with Uber, TaskRabbit, Deliveroo, and other companies leading the way. Those companies achieved a mass production of services, whereas they had the same guarantee, the same quality for the same price. There is one small problem with it, though. If we are optimizing for efficiency, then humans are quite non-optimal and, to be honest, very expensive for the task, as we have AI and robots becoming more and more advanced. And actually, by 2025, we expect that the time spent on work tasks will be split equally between humans and robots. Luckily for us, this trend actually coincided with another two. So first of all, the world is becoming much more digitally connected. 60% of the world population, that is 4.7 billion people, are now on the internet. And just 20 years ago, when many of us went to kindergarten or school, it was just 400 million people. And second, while the fight with poverty is far from being over, we are definitely moving in the right direction. Now, half of the world population is considered to be middle class. That's a 2x increase in the last 10 years. Altogether, it means that wherever you are, in London, in Uxbridge, in Paris, or Stockholm, you can reach more people who can afford a better option than just the cheapest option available. And so a new act begins. Some call it passion economy, some call it creator economy, but the gist is the same. People can earn their livelihood by tapping into their unique strengths and passions and finding like-minded people across the world. This new economy combines the benefits of two previous ones. It's community and scale. And it means that you don't have to have millions of people, millions of customers in order to be successful. You can just find 100 people, like in this audience, who could pay you $100 per month, and it would give you $10,000 monthly income. That is 2 times higher than an average income in the US. When I talk to people about this new economy, usually their response is like, yes, I want that. I want to do what I'm passionate about and earn good money. Their second thought, though, is, wait, but what am I passionate about? What should I do? And many people don't have the answer readily available for them on the surface. Many of them get frustrated and just get back to what they were doing. Unfortunately, it's not an answer in our times. Due to fast advancement of technology, by 2025, just a couple of years from now, more than 50% of employees will need reskilling. With fast advancement of AI and robotics, a lot of people will lose their jobs. But even more jobs will be created. By some estimates, 97 million new job types will be created in the next 10 years. So the only way to stay relevant, if your profession might not exist in the next 5 years, is to build your career around not a profession, but around you, around your unique set of skills and interests. So how do you do that? I worked in tech for the past 10 years in such companies like Intercom or Facebook. And 10 years ago, the reality was very different. So for example, mobile internet was very slow and unavailable to majority of the world population. We actually used DVDs to watch movies. Netflix stock plummeted when they announced that their DVD subscription service won't be a part of their business anymore. And obviously, many products did not exist, like Tinder or TikTok or Deliveroo. Despite all these drastic changes in technology, society, economy, market landscape, Facebook is still there. And so are many other technological companies like Google or Apple or Amazon. How did they stay relevant and even more increase their value over time? So I worked as a product manager and also as a people manager, helping people to develop in their careers. And actually, I found that there are many similarities between building a successful product and a successful career. So here are 3 most important lessons that I learned over this time. First of all, you should start small and experiment. Slack, a work communication tool, was supposed to be an online multiplayer game. At some point, they realized that the traction of a built-in chat was much higher than the traction of the game itself, so they just dropped the game. WhatsApp was about showing a status next to people names in your phone contact list. And YouTube launched as a dating app. None of the products that we use and love today was born in their current form. Building products is like launching a rocket to the moon for the very first time. How would it land? Would it get stuck in the surface? How would materials interact with the atmosphere? Would it be able to take off again? Even if you collect a ton of insights and intelligence in advance, you will never know what will actually happen until you try it. And that's why it's so critically important to start somewhere. Not spending 5 years on polishing a perfect product, but actually launching something very scrappy early on so that you could get this initial docking with reality. You should first receive the feedback and then also iterate. Only through iteration you can build a valuable and unique product. I started as a musician, but now I'm an entrepreneur launching artificial intelligence products that might feel like a massive jump, almost like YouTube going from a dating app to a video creation platform. But if you look at all the small steps in the middle, it starts to make sense. So from a musician, I went to being a writer, then a journalist, then a web editor, then a product manager, and then an entrepreneur. And I'm not even sure if that's the final destination yet. Very few people in the world can say with certainty where they see themselves in 20 years. But everyone can start with small steps, learning from them, and adjusting the course. Second, you shouldn't be afraid to fail. There is a certain stigma about failing in our society. We perceive it as something bad. But as soon as you start working in tech, you actually realize that failure is an inevitable part of progress. 9 in 10 startups fail. 9 in 10 experiments do not show positive results, and that is normal. How on earth can you guarantee success if you're trying out something new? By trying to minimize failure, we actually default to known methods, and we stop any kind of innovation. In my life, I made 3 major career pivots, but there are so many more careers that I tried, failed at, and did not pursue, like a PR specialist, a marketeer, a podcaster. When I worked in those areas, but it didn't give me the right energy and excitement that I was looking for, I actually was quick to recognize that it wasn't for me, and there must be something out there that might be better suited for my individuality. And at the same time, all these professions give me the insights and the inspiration for my next steps. Steve Jobs actually took a calligraphy class in college, and obviously he never became a famous calligrapher, which might have felt like a failure at the time. However, his knowledge inspired many truly unique Apple features, like their beautiful typography. In his 2005 Stanford commencement speech, Steve Jobs said that he could have never connected the dots looking forward, but the connection was very clear to him looking back 10 years later. If you're drawn to something, find the least expensive way to try it. And then if you succeed and you feel energetic about it, congratulations, you learn something about yourself. But if you fail and you don't feel any connection at all, also congratulations, you learn something about yourself. While previously careers felt like a marathon with strictly defined point A and point B, now it's more of an adventure, where exploration is much more important than the actual result. And lastly, you should focus on your uniqueness. How many of you heard about Spotify? Okay, almost everybody. So let's imagine that I built the exact replica of Spotify and now ask you to try it, but for a slightly higher price. Would you do that? Yeah, I guess no one would. If there is no difference, why pay more? Or even consider switching? It's quite obvious when we are talking about that with regards to business, but many people fail to apply the same thinking when it comes to their careers. They want to read the same books, go to the same courses, learn the same skills like everyone else. But if everyone is the same, the only way to compete is by decreasing the price. You can never earn more if you're average. At the same time, if you can identify something truly unique about yourself, then you're maximizing your chances for success. When I transitioned from a journalist to a product manager, it was actually quite common for product managers to have a computer science background. And to be honest, I was really scared and felt like I wouldn't find a job as I didn't have the right skills. Surprisingly, when I actually looked at the job and looked at the areas which it entailed, I realized that journalistic skills were a must in many of them. And many PMs around me just didn't have them because they had a very technical background. If I tried to compensate for what I didn't have, I just would have spent years on becoming an average product manager. Instead, I focused all my time and energy on maximizing on my strengths, and that helped me land my first job in product management in just 3 months, get offers from Facebook and Google, and also get offers for VP of product positions at startups. It also helped me identify what I would like to do next. As I combined my product management experience and journalistic skills, I started a side business that eventually led me to focus on it full time. I work in artificial intelligence. And so I hear a lot of people being scared of it, like robots will take our jobs, this kind of stuff. To me, it's actually much scarier when people are trying to hold on to the jobs which were designed for robots from the very beginning. Now, it's the first era in our history where humans, more and more humans, not just the chosen ones, can be humans. Creative, passionate, and unique. So be one. Thank you.